What's up, everybody? How you doing today? I am so happy to see you. My name is David Pulfus. I would like to welcome you to davidpulfusspeaks.com. I'm so thrilled that you've taken some time from your busy schedule to spend some time with me. And listen, I don't want to take that for granted. I don't want to take you for granted. And I want also to let you know that I don't believe in happenstance, meaning that I don't believe in random occurrences of things. I think everything is very intentional. Everything is very purposeful. We may not understand why things happen, but things happen for a definitive reason, for a definitive end. The law of cause and effects basically say that. We're gonna get into that in a minute, but I wanna just really appreciate you and taking the time for you. Thank you for taking the time to hang out with me. Now listen, as I was thinking, which I like to consider myself a thinker. Most people really don't think. They confuse mental activity for thought, but I will submit to you that they're very different. But as I was thinking out, how can I basically be of more service to my community and my peeps, I wanted to really do something more meaningful and do something differently, actually, which is, if you see here, I've decided to document my journey of this year, and particularly, which I like to call this year the year of manifestation, because I know that we have the power to decree and to establish the life that we want to have. And 2018 doesn't necessarily have to be that year for you. It could be like any other year. But I've decreed and declared that it shall be a year of manifestation, and it's happening now. But I will also submit to you that it doesn't have to be just 2018. We have the power and the capability to create whatever year and to designate whatever year that we want to have to be that what we want. And so that being said, so what I decided to do was basically just to document my journey in this year of manifestation, to be of encouraging, to be of service to you, to encourage you, and to possibly give you a blueprint so that you can implement some things that I'm doing, so that you can have whatever level of success that you want to have in your life. And success is all relative. It's based upon you. I like what Earl Nightingale said about success. He said that success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. The progressive realization of a worthy idea. So it means that, first of all, you have to have an idea that is worthy of your time and your energy. And then as you pursue that, then you are actually dealing with success. When you don't have that, then you're not. So there's many different ways that we can value that. But my goal is to rise up. And when I rise up, I will help as many people that I can rise up as well. So the reason why I'm shooting these episodes and I'm gonna place them here is because I basically I was thinking that, do I just want to show you my results, which is, I consider to be my fruit. Whenever you have something tangible that you can see, feel, taste, and touch, that's basically your fruit. When it has transmuted to this physical realm where we can actually correspond with it, that is your fruit. But that is not the place of its origination. So I was like, well, maybe, I think it would be better if I show you the roots, show you where the fruit comes from. Then I was thinking, that's kind of cool. That's hype. That's dope. I like it. But then I was thinking, well, it would be even more, have a greater impact if I showed you not only the ground in which I planted the root, but the seed that actually in which the roots and the fruits came from. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's going to have a bigger and more effective impact for you. So, and this is why we're doing this. So I decided to create these episodes. This is called Manifest Power Hour. Now, it won't necessarily be an hour. Sometimes I'm gonna try to keep this in smaller chunks. I just want to break it up into different episodes because, in this day and age, for us to do something for an hour, it's like, what is going on? That's a rare thing. But it is my goal that I will keep you engaged and that I will give you something that you can use, make it tangible enough so that you can implement into your daily lives. And know that this is not something that you're just going to do like this. This is something that you got to be committed to, something that you got to be hungry for. If you're not hungry, then you're not going to eat. But if you are hungry, you will eat daily and you eat throughout the day, and then you will use it for energy, use it to make everything that you need to make happen. All right, so without further ado, you see back here I have my beautiful mind map here that is filled with colors, and I have my little slideshow. So I'm going to be jumping back and forth, and we're gonna see what happens, and whatever happens, gonna happen. And I'm very excited. My intentions is that you feel the love I have for you guys, that you feel my energy, and raise my level of conscious to a level that it will allow you guys to come to another level as well. So with the first episode, I titled "Do Differently," and the reason why I did that is because everything says that, do differently. It may be the subtopic, the sub theme for the rest of the year. You got to manifest this year, but in order for you to manifest this year, you got to do something differently. If you keep doing what you've been doing, you know how the saying goes, you're gonna keep getting the same results that you've been getting. But only if we would shift just a little bit. It doesn't require a lot, because we get so overwhelmed with thinking about how much we need to do to change something, and it's really not. It's the small things that we do that really changes the trajectory of where we're trying to go. So just keep that in mind. Be encouraged that take baby steps, and then you'll see giant steps later down the road. So Do Differently is the first episode. I'm just gonna give you a little quick preview of what we're gonna deal with, and I'm gonna flip back and forth to the slides, and then we're gonna make it happen. All right. So we see here the first thing I would like to talk about: establishing a strong foundation. Listen, if you're going to build something of value, of note, you need to really establish a strong foundation if you want it to sustain and last, not only for your lifetime, but for generations to come. And in order to do something, if you want to, the higher you want to go, the deeper you got to go first. You see what I'm saying? You gotta really understand that you got to make room for the roots to grow. You got to have the right kind of seeds, which is our ideals, which is information that is through imagination that you can think of. Anything that you can think of are your seeds, okay, right? And you got to plant it deep into the fertile ground. So, and that's establishing your foundation. Once you do that, then you can begin to use that seed will then begin to grow, and it will produce multiple fruits for you. It will produce a whole form of goodness. So I'm gonna do so. You're gonna see. I'm gonna talk about some specific things to do, and then I'm gonna talk about some generalities, because until you really embrace the big picture, the small minutia is not really going to do you a lot of good. So in the beginning, I'm gonna start talking about some universal laws. Now, a lot of people don't even know about what universal laws are, or if they even exist. And it's kind of a tragic that we really don't even teach these universal laws as we do with how to speak English or whatever language that you're checking out, that you're dealing with. It's vital. I think it's vital because it's the difference between knowing and not knowing, right? And what I mean by that is that just because you don't know that the 7 universal laws exist doesn't preclude you from the ramifications thereof. But if you do know what they are, then you can use those laws to live in harmony with the laws and with nature's ways, and you can have a more beautiful ease of life versus falling into good times and falling into bad times. It's like we say we got lucky with some things. I will submit is, 2 things. First of all, luck, even miracles. Sometimes these words are words that we use. I think Voltaire said, these are words that we use to explain the unknown effects of known causes. No, I said it the opposite way. It's what we use to explain the known effects of unknown causes, right? So if we were to really understand when we get lucky, that's like those are times that we've fallen into harmony with the laws. And then when we say we're unlucky, I will submit that that's when we fall out of harmony with the laws. But if you are consciously aware of the laws, then the chance of you living and flowing with the laws can be greater. And if that's greater, then you will, like, if you want to use this word luck, you can actually imbibe in a state of luck perpetually, you know. So then you just walking around Mr. Lucky or Mrs. Lucky, you know. So this is what's so important about the laws, is like, if you understand the big scheme of things, then you can choose to do or not to do, versus just letting the outside word take you and flip you around like a little string dial. All right, so let's jump over here to our bad boy slides. Let's see how that looks. All right, so 2018, the year of manifestation. First of all, let me just pause and say, I love the word manifestation. Manifest, you know, these words it just means a lot to me. It's like there's a certain frequency that resonates within me when I say those words, because it's power. You know, people who say words are not powerful, they're operating on ignorance of a law. You know, it's very powerful. You know, now we can choose to accept those words, and that's where I think where it lies. Like, if you don't accept or agree with certain words, then the power will become diluted. But if you embrace the meaning of words, then I think you can use those words to really catapult you to your next level. All right, so here we go. Episode number 1, do differently. Let's make this happen. I like to start with one of Einstein's quotes. Let me drop a side note. It's funny, I just saw a meme somewhere that said, it had a picture, it was a little comic strip that said, it was a picture of Einstein saying, everybody said I said these things, but I really didn't. So I have a whole nother outlook upon a lot of these quotes that I now have to like do even more research. But, you know, or not, because at the end of the day, I guess we like to attribute to who said these things so they can actually have more weight. But, you know, my greater vision, my greater understanding is that it really doesn't matter who said it, because it all belongs to the universe, and it all belongs to us, and we just tap into it. I think Einstein was vibrated at a higher level, so he was able to tap into stuff that we have not yet done, but it's, you know, we can, and once we do, then we will tap into all those wisdom nuggets that he's been attributed to being quoted from. Anyway, I digress. Here, back to the quote. So it says that we cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we created them. Yeah, you dig what I'm saying? So that's so powerful. We cannot solve our problems with the same thinking we used when we got them in. And that's oftentimes what we do. We basically add one frequency of where the problem exists, and then we try to use that same frequency to solve that problem, you know, and that's really a mistake, you know, because the answer to the problem is not on the same frequency that it was created on. Oftentimes now we have to rise our consciousness to a higher level so that we can look down at the problem, so we can actually embrace the answer, because everything we need is already here in some form or fashion. We just got to really tune into it so that we can receive it and be a conduit so they can flow through. You dig what I'm saying? All right. So Raymond Hollowell said that it's all a matter of choice. And I will agree. He says that all failures in life are due to taking sides with the finite around us. All success in life is due to taking sides with the law within us. The law within us. Thus, working with the law may be considered the same as taking the law into our mind and lives as a silent partner. So this should be really encouraging, because this lets you know that, hey, you're not at this alone. Even when you feel alone, you got to understand that the law, which is basically God's way of doing things, is God's modus operandi. It's the order of the universe. You know, everything is done in order. So the law within us is our silent partner, trying to enable us to move into abundance, to move into whatever our greatest desires are, to move into the good that we desire. Okay, you see what I'm saying? Yeah. You picking up what I'm dropping. It's very important that you pick this up, people. I know you will. I got faith in you. So it's important that we live in harmony with the law. Now, harmony, let me drop a side note. Most of you know I'm a musician. Love it. Yeah, a lot of people say, David, what you doing? Are you still playing? Yes, I'm still playing. What you think? Listen, there's two things that I know I was designed to do: be a dad and to be a musician. I mean, that's like my true purpose in life. Now within those two purposes, there's some subcategories like I'm an encourager, I'm a helper, I'm a friend, I'm a brother, I'm an uncle, all these attributes that we all have. But listen, I'm playing and I'm always going to play. So, but I also want to help in another way. So my music transcends a lot of words and attributes, and it touches people at a spiritual level, at a deep level. And I'm honored that I can help people that way. But also, there's value in words, and I want to really expand my boundaries so that I can reach, help, and teach more people so they can live the life that I'm living and even greater. So, all right. Side note, picked up, dropped up. Here we go. So, live in harmony with the law. Now, I really love harmony. Like, I'm in the season of creating. I've been composing a lot, and my methodology for creating harmony is with creating songs. Is I actually hear harmonies first, and I hear melodies on top of harmonies. Versus, I think a lot of people hear melodies first, and then they pick the harmony that fits the melody. But I really love harmony. It's the way how two or more notes vibrate together, and how they flow and add more than what the single unit or the single thing initially established. So if we look at this in terms of the law and how we do it, we can live in harmony with the law. We can live out of harmony with the law. And I would suggest that living in harmony is way better than living with and out of harmony, because when you're out of harmony, then you have discord, you have dissonance, disorder, and chaos. And listen, where your energy goes, where your thought goes, your energy flows. So it's important that we flow in order so that we can have harmony and we understand what the laws are, so we can flow in harmony with the laws. That's why it's so important that I'm gonna spend some time with our 7 universal laws coming up here, because not just those. There's a lot of laws that we don't deal with, but that's one that I want to make sure we have. There's one law that is very important that is happening all the time, whether we realize it or not, and that's we're either creating or disintegrating. We're never standing still. There's no such thing as inertia. We're either moving towards something or moving away from something. The whole world is vibrating, is moving. And if you don't have a goal in mind, then you're disintegrating slowly but surely. And that's a choice that you're doing. You don't have to disintegrate. You can create. We are creators. We will create either by default or by design, but create you must, because you are God's highest form of creation. He is a creator, and what we do is create. It's simple as that. Now, people think that musicians, artists, and this, that, and the third are the only ones that are creative, but I will submit to you that is not the case. You create all the time. You choose to create or not. So I will embrace you I will employ for you to embrace your creative side, which is maybe land dormant because you don't think you can actually sing or play an instrument or color or draw or dance. You have the ability to create something that never existed before with your thoughts, with your imagination. That's where it comes from. That. So trust me, you can, and I want to employ you to do so. All right. Now, this is very important. Andrew Carnegie, he said that any idea that is held in the mind, and we do this, we say the mind is our head, but I will submit to you that the mind is no more in our head than my fingernail, my pinky and my fingernail. Mind is movement. And when you really understand what the mind is, then you can actually use it and live in harmony with that as well, so that you can actually get what you want and that you maximize the potentiality that you have. See what I'm saying? All right, so he says that any idea that is held in the mind, that is emphasized, that is either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most convenient and appropriate physical form available. Now, that's beautiful. People, we don't talk like that anymore. And Andrew Carnegie was he was born in the 1800s. But listen, I'm gonna read that again because it's such a powerful statement. Any idea that is held in the mind, that is emphasized, that is either feared or revered, will begin at once to clothe itself in the most appropriate, the most convenient and appropriate form available. Now listen, any idea, that means these are the thoughts that we think. Listen, when we employ one of our higher faculties, and we use our imagination, and we hold this thought, this goal, this vision, this dream, this desire in our mind, and then we emphasize it because we mix it with emotion. We get emotion with it. Let me submit to you that when we mix our emotions with the thing that we want, the desire that we want, that is how we actually, that is what is necessary to transmute it from the invisible to the visible, from the spiritual to the physical. That is either feared or revered. Now listen, feared or revered, that means that either we use our imagination positively or we use it negatively. If we're operating in faith, or we operating in anxiety. Like what we see, this is what, check it out. This is what happens a lot. We think about the worst case scenario more than the opposite of that, which is the best case scenario. And because we are creators, when we continually think about the bad thing that is happening, guess what you're doing? You're actually manifesting and drawing to you the bad things that you're fearing. But if you revere it and hold it in faith and know that it's yours, and you keep feeling the good of what that means to have that what you want, then everything around you will move on your behalf, and it will close. It will close. It will put on that which you want, and that is what is required to get what you want, into whatever physical and the most convenient and appropriate physical form that's available. Powerful statement. Powerful. Did I say powerful yet? It's very important that we understand that. Now listen, like I said, now the reason why I brought up Andrew Carnegie, because he's the one that championed the whole, basically he's one of, back in the day, like 1835 or whatever, almost 1900, he actually was probably one of the first billionaires that lived, that documented billionaires on the planet. And he commissioned Napoleon, who was like a newspaper reporter. He was like, he was going to give him a 3-hour interview. I think Napoleon wanted a 3-hour interview. I'm not 100% about which one, but I know that Napoleon went to Carnegie, and he was with the opposites of having an interview for 3 hours, which in turn turned to a 3-day interview, in which case, basically Andrew Carnegie was like, Napoleon, are you willing to devote the next 20 years of your life to dealing with the laws of success and documenting it and interviewing those who are deemed successful in this day and age? And if will you be willing to do so without me compensating you? Now I will open up doors for you, but I will not put you on payroll, which he could have, but I think he had a purpose for what he was doing. And about, the story goes in about 20, 30 seconds. Napoleon said, yeah, I will. And that began this whole documentation of personal development, which started, this whole movement. And, Earl Nightingale was one of the ones who actually was, I guess, the one who really documented personal development in the form of records. He was a radio broadcaster, and he was, one of the founders of the Nightingale Conant Foundation. And I have this lineage, this timeline of some these men that I actually consider to be have deeply impacted my lives, because there's a lineage of what this mantle has come from and where it's at now. Bob Proctor is one of my dear friends and mentor. I've been in the room with him many occasions, and I'm a big student of his, and I'm a consultant of him as well. But the reason why I chose him and not other people, there's nothing wrong with that. Just there's a definitive line that I wanted to be a part of, and that dispensation of knowledge and transference of knowledge I wanted to be, and I wanted to flow to me. And Bob is still alive. He's like 80 something, 81, 82, and still going strong and making things happen. I'm going to show you some resources that I'm using later that you can tap into if you choose to. But like I said, this is my journey. This is how I'm documenting what I've been going through. And I want to make sure, that I include these guys into the conversation. All right, now back to Einstein. He said that everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. I like this quote. It's just like, it's kind of gangster. Einstein saying, listen, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get the reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy. It is physics immutable. You see what I'm saying? So this kind of a gangster little statement. It's kind of like in my mind's eye, I can visualize like people, talking to Einstein saying, "Bro, what you talking about? You don't know nothing." Blah 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 blah. I'm tired of hearing all this hocus smokers stuff. But listen, this quote is just a little gangster, got a little edge to it. And I like a little edge. You see what I'm saying? But it's a powerful. It's like everything is energy. And that's all there is to it. Deal with it. Match the frequency. If you if you raise your frequency that you are now to the frequency that you want to be at, you cannot help but get whatever's on that frequency. Whatever's on that frequency is going to come to you and it's going to be in your reality. See, you got to understand that your reality is the end result of wherever it first originated. Everything is created twice. First in the invisible spiritual realm, and then it's transmuted into the physical. And there's an infinite amount of frequencies. There's just literally, you don't see them, but you don't see the radio frequency either, but you can tune into that bad boy. See, this is what happens. People are like on AM, like 840 AM, trying to, manifest things that are on 90.7 or Q97 or whatever your favorite radio station is. You can't be on AM dial and receive an FM dial. You got to tune that bad boy to FM in order to get what's on FM. So likewise, where you are, you got to just flip the switch and catapult, transmute, go to the frequency. See how we do this. Okay, we do this by our imagination. You have the power to think of anything that you want, to create anything in your mind's eye. This is beautiful, because once you think of this desired good that you want, or sometimes it's some things that we don't want, but that's when we use our imagination in a negative way. But when we use it in a positive way, we literally see what we desire. At that moment, when you are seeing what you desire, you have just entered into that frequency. Now, how long you stay in that frequency is going to determine you getting that frequency. So the thing is, we don't stay in that frequency long enough to get the good that lives and abides on that frequency. But we got to make a daily habit of doing that throughout the day, to not only thinking what we want, believing that we're going to get it. And how you believe it? Through knowledge. You got to understand that when I think of a thing, it exists. I don't see it. Just because I don't see it doesn't mean it doesn't exist, but it's there. You dig what I'm saying? So not only it is there, but then if I now get all my senses, my senses that I use to correspond in this physical world, my sight, my feelings, my taste and touch, if I employ these elements into this one thought process of imagination that I see in my mind's eye, if I get emotionally involved with it and I live in that moment, now I'm transmuting. I'm actually transmuting that frequency, and I'm saying everything that lives on that frequency, come to me now. 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 You know what I'm saying? And guess what? It comes to you. But the thing is, we don't stay there long enough, and then we just go to different frequencies, and we miss out on what was coming to us, because we can only get it when we get to that frequency. All right. I don't want to belabor the moment, but this is crucial that we understand this. All right. So here we go. What's next? Next. All right, Edison, he says that I know this world is ruled by infinite intelligence. Everything that surrounds us, everything that exists, proves that there are infinite laws behind it. There can be no denying it. It is mathematical in its precision. You dig? It's not happenstance. It is precise. There's a science to acquiring everything we want. A science. The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wallace is a powerful book. I will put that on the resources that you should check out. It's a purpose. So this is important, because if it's a mathematical equation, then it doesn't matter who you are, where you come from. It is there freely and equally present at all places at the same time, so that we all can tap into it. No matter what happened to your life, no matter what you came into this world with or did not come into this world with, it is equally accessible to you when you understand that you can have it. That is yours. Once you understand who you are, once you understand that you're God's highest form of creation, that nothing that you cannot do, if you really put your mind to it and activate the laws of the universe to make happen. You dig what I'm saying? You dig? All right, cool. Raymond Hollowell said that the laws are exact. The laws of your being is perpetual increase. That's why we want more. You know, I will submit to you that we were not created to be satisfied with just whatever. If you ever set goals, once you set a goal, there's a yearning within you to do more, to want more. I don't care how effective you are in it. There's something pulling for you to do more, because perpetual increase is our state of being. And if you're really going to have a true fulfillment in every area of life, you will allow that perpetual increase to come and increase. You know, so the law of your being is perpetual increase, progress, and growth, so that when one good is realized, another desire for a greater good will develop, and when a higher state is reached, another and more glorious state will unfold. Your vision and will urge you on and on. Hence the advanced point. Yeah, that's something that's like a little state will unfold. Your vision and will urge you on and on. All right, that just flows a little awkward. But anyway, moving on. Hence, the advancing life is the true life, the life that God intended for you to live. You dig? I'm sharing for you, friend to friend. This is what I'm dealing with. And this is the foundation that I know I have to have in order to get with the actual physical things that you need to do. When we get caught up on, tell me what to do, I need to do something. I will submit to you that if you're not dealing with the things that you can't see, dealing with the internal you, your image of yourself, which creates your paradigm, then the things you do on top, it really won't matter. Matter of fact, however you see yourself internally, actually going to determine what you end up doing anyway. That's why we don't do what we know that we should do, but we don't do it. You know, knowing a thing does not ensure that you would do it. Knowing does not begin doing. But you know, once you change stuff that you can't see, when you work on yourself first, then great things will happen. All right. So here, finally, we've come to the point where I want to introduce to you the 7 universal laws. Some of this is going to be brand new. Some of it's going to be a review. And I submit to you that if it's something that you've already heard before, great. Keep dealing with it. You know, I have this one analogy that's so powerful. So, have you ever told somebody or encouraged somebody, or you talking to somebody who's going through issues, or maybe not be going through issues, and they always got, yeah, I know this, I heard this before, I know this. Some of you on here, if you lasted this long, probably already said, yeah, David, I know this, bro, I know this. Well, 2 things. First of all, good. I'm glad that this is not brand new for you, but understand this. You need to keep hearing it until it produces what it was designed to produce. What does that mean? So if we go back to the analogy of the seed, when you plant a seed, you water that bad boy, right? Do you water it one time? No. I don't think you do. Not if you really want to have it and manifest, huh? You water it over and over and over and every day and throughout the day. Guess what? That water is still H2O, 2 part hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. It's not a different form of water. It is the same water. It is the same words that you need to water your thought seeds, your imagination seeds, your goal seeds, your desire seeds. It is the same thing you need to hear over and over and over, because the water is nurturing, is providing the necessary sustenance so that the seed will grow and attract more of the necessary nutrients and whatever is required for the unfoldment of that which is producing. So likewise, these truisms, these nuggets of righteousness, they are, it doesn't have to be some brand new stuff that you hear. See, that's another thing. We have this fallacy that I need to hear something new. Tell me something new that I need to hear so I can make some stuff happen. No, you need to hear the right stuff, and you need to hear the right stuff over and over and over again until it takes uproot, and then you start to begin to see the effects of the fruit until you start seeing the fruit of that what you want. And guess what? You still need to water that bad boy. Once the flower blossoms, do you stop watering it? No, you keep watering it, and it goes through the cycle where it eventually dies off, and it goes to another level. But you still keep watering that bad boy. You see what I'm saying? So that being said, let's get right to it, because this is actually maybe turned into a power hour. Anyway, here we go. So the first law is the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. This decrees that energy is in a constant state of transmission and transmutation from a higher to a lower vibration. So you must understand that you are a soul. You are a spirit. You possess a soul, and you live in a body. Your spirit is your higher nature, is your higher vibration. Your lower vibration is the physical body in which we correspond with, the after result. So if we understand this process, everything is moving out into form and through form. From nothingness that we can see, we can create form, we can create that what we want, and then it moves into form, and then we see it. So very powerful. The law of perpetual, easy for me to say, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Dig it. The law of vibration decrees that everything vibrates, nothing rests. Everything we see and everything we don't see has its own vibrational frequency. Conscious awareness of vibrations referred to as a feeling. So that's why our feelings is so important. We got to understand what we're feeling, because that helps us to designate the vibration that we're actually in. And if we're in if we're feeling like not positive, angry, upset, hurt, they could be valid to the certain degree that someone did something, allowed, or some action happened to you, but it also shows you the frequency that you're on. So if you keep in a feeling of the victim or poverty or lack, then guess what? You're transmitting poverty, victim, lack, and you're going to what? Attract poverty, victim, lack. But if you understand that whatever you're feeling, you can decide, I'm gonna feel differently. You can tell your body to do differently. It takes practice. It takes an effort, concerted effort, but the more you do it, the easier it becomes. Just like with walking. When a child tried walking, it fell down. It didn't even stand up. But it didn't say, this walking thing is not for me. It got up and kept getting up. Fall down 7, get up 8. You see what I'm saying? The cave that you fear holds the treasure that you seek. So you got to be hungry. You got to pursue what you want. You have no right to a thing that you do not pursue. So pursue what you want. And once you pursue it, our dreams begin to crystallize as we go after what we desire. You see what I'm saying? Woo, I'm dropping some knowledge here, babes. All right, so listen. This law of vibration also, people confuse, when they talk about the law of attraction, which is a secondary law, they're not really expressing their understanding of what the law of attraction is. It starts with the law of vibration. Vibration allows the law of attraction to exist. And if you understand the law of vibration and controlling your vibration, then you really won't tap into the law of attraction correctly. So deal with the law of vibration. You heard me? Now I think it's Emerson. I think Emerson calls the law of he calls this the primary law. Now these laws are not in any order, but you'll as you begin to study them and embrace them, you will see that some have more weight than others, but understand that they all work together synergistically to a definitive end. So the law of cause and effect, nothing happens by chance or by accident. Every cause has an effect, and every effect has a cause. Sowing and reaping. Okay, you know what I'm saying? Nothing just. How did I start this whole episode? Nothing just happens. Everything is the effect or the cause of something. If you see the effect, something causes. We live in a sphere of effects, and behind that fear of effects is a fear of causes, and they match up beautifully with each other. So understand this. I'm dropping some deep stuff here, people, but it's once you live with it, once you keep watering your mind and your soul and changing your image of these things, then you will begin to purposely live in harmony with these things. And once you live in harmony, then life becomes beautiful. It's like peace is refreshing. It's abundance. It's overflow. And then Upanishads, which is one of the most ancient, the Upanishads, the most ancient text that we have, says that from abundance he scooped abundance, and still abundance remains. You understand that abundance is your birthright because you come from abundance, but we either block it or don't understand that we can have it because of how we were raised. And it's not to shun fingers on our parents or this, that, and the other, but you only can grow to that which you've been exposed to. And if you have not been exposed to it, then of course you're not going to yearn for these things. But keep living, keep. There's a desire in us that wants more inherently because our perpetual increases our state of being. Don't fight those urges. Look for them. Flow through them, gravitate to them. All right. And what we have here, the law of rhythm. The law of rhythm decrees that everything is moving to and fro, flowing in and out, swinging high, swinging low, forward and backward. These rhythms establish seasons, cycles, stages of development patterns. Listen, every day is not going to be extremely high, and some days it's going to be low, but understand that it moves, it ebbs and flows, because if you look at a frequency just don't go like this, flatline. Oh, boy, if it flatlines, guess what? You're not alive. That's why you have those monitors, EKG monitors. If you see the pulse of our heart beating, it moves up and down, right? Well, guess what? If it flatlines, then something's not right. This body is no longer functioning at the purpose that it was intended to do. But also, in between those frequencies that go up and down, we have cycles in which we flow in. And sometimes are really, really good. It's like, whoa, yes, more of this. Sometimes like, oh God, what is going on right now? I don't like this. Get away. I rebuke you. We don't want that. And that's fine. But be encouraged that once even you in a downward swing, that try to maintain a sense of understanding, which is what's going to help you get through and understand that this too shall pass away. It's just a fullness of time that we're in this downward swing, but we're going to swing up again and we're going to get higher and higher. So understanding the law of rhythm will really help you maneuver through the good and the bad. The law of polarity decrees that everything is on a continuum and has its opposite that is both equal and opposite. Up, down, hot, cold, good, and bad. Now listen, this is a powerful one because one cannot exist without the other. There cannot be an up without a down, an in without an out, good without a bad. If the bad is present, the good has to be there. It has to be. Now, oftentimes the good is hiding, playing peekaboo with us. We got to learn to harvest the good. That means we got to look for it. And once we begin to harvest the good, we begin to see it, and then we're retuning our frequency of the situation, and then we can begin to see more good. Because when you begin to see more good, now you're looking for the good. You're expecting the good. When you expect the good, you're making demand of the law of supply to come to you because it's here. You're coming into agreement with the law of supply. So if the bad is there, the good has to be as well. Now sometimes, most of the times, we see the bad first, but we can change that. You can do it. I know you can because I'm doing it. I see bad in a lot of things, but I catch myself. And this is another thing I want to say. Let me drop this anchor real quick. Check this out. When you don't do what you're supposed to be doing, don't have a long pity party about it. Understand what you're not doing correctly and move on. Don't stay in the mud, while in the mud, unless you like playing in the mud, and that's different. And some people like playing in the mud. But get up. Get up from where you are and don't belabor the moment. Don't think like, oh man, I just messed up. Oh, woe is me, all is lost. No. Once you fall, get up. Fall down 7, get up 8. Fall down 8, get up 9. You see what I'm saying? Keep getting up. So that, and don't, and like keep, it's like quarterbacks, you know, quarterbacks that throws an interception, they say they got to have a sharp memory, you know. Yeah, forget about it. You don't stop throwing the ball. You just do it more effectively next time. You feel what I'm saying? All right, cool. Good. And we have the law of gender. I like the law of gender. I like them all. But some of them just, you know, I like the way they flow off my tongue. So the law of gender decrees that the law of gender manifests itself in things as masculine and feminine. It is this law that governs what we know as creation. See, I love creating. Not just because I'm a musician, but I love having the onus is on me now to birth the desires of my life. It's not on somebody else. It's on me because I have been given creative ability. So, as I was saying, it is the law that governs what we know as creation. This law also decrees that every seed has a gestation or incubation period before it manifests. Love this. So, what this means is that there's a certain time that must elapse once we've planted the seed into the proper soil. Once we water the seed, the law of gender says that there's a fullness of time that must happen before the maturation of the seed. You see what I'm saying? Important. So our spiritual thoughts and seeds, our spiritual imagination are seeds, but the thing is, we don't really know what the gestation period is. Like for a baby, we know that typically a gestation period is 9 months. I think corn is like 70 days or something like that. I'm not a farmer. I don't know what all the time that it requires for certain things. But there's a lot of things that we can say, I know it's going to take X amount of days, X amount of months before this seed comes to full manifestation. Well, our spiritual seeds, our desires, our goals, we don't really know 100%. We can claim it as a time on the timeline, but it's not necessarily the case. So that time should not be the determining factor of whether or not it's going to happen. Now, just because something doesn't happen when we want it to happen doesn't mean it's not happening. It just means that we don't know, and we've picked perhaps the wrong time that we thought it was going to happen. So don't be hard on yourself when you make yourself goals and you say you want this by such and such, and it don't happen by such and such. Everything happens when it's ready to happen. It's not going to happen before. It's going to happen exactly when it needs to happen and when it's supposed to happen. Know this. Once you understand this, I'm telling you, things going to get a lot better for you. Trust. All right. Now, that's basically, I believe those are my seven laws. There's more, but there's 7 universal laws that we need to deal with. And right now, one more. This is the last one. The law of relativity decrees that nothing is good or bad, big or small, until you relate it to something. The proper use of this law will make any situation look better. Now, this is very, very powerful as well. So everybody has issues, and we think the issues that we have are like, oh my goodness, I'm not gonna make it. Well, really? Is that a first world problem, or is that a real problem? Because when we live in the first world as we do, oftentimes, like this whole weekend, I was actually supposed to record this series this weekend, but guess what? There was an internet outage in my area for like 3 or 4 days, and my whole lifeline, or one of my lifelines, is connected to the web. So as yours, I would imagine. But I have like maybe 12, 15 appliances or computers or modems or satellites and this, that, and other that is hooked up to the internet. I love the internet. It is great. But and when it was down, I was like, oh my goodness, my internet is gone. But that's like a first world problem, bro. People don't have running water. Right now, as me recording this, people in Puerto Rico still don't have power. Not just the internet power. That's a whole nother topic. But my point is that, if you actually to look at your issue with somebody else's that's probably doing that's greater than yours, your little problem not gonna feel that bad. It's like if you have a box that is like 3 inches tall. It's just 3 inches tall. It's not really big or small. It becomes small when you compare it to a box that is 4 to 8 or plus inches tall. And guess what? It's not small until you compare, or it's not big unless you compare it to something that is 2, 1, or even less inches higher than the 3. You see what I'm saying? It's so whatever you deal with, step back, understand what it is, relate it to something that is worse than yours, and you're gonna feel a little different about how your situation is going through. You see what I'm saying? All right, cool. So those are our 7 universal laws. Now I'm gonna go. Let me pause just one second. I think that's gonna be it for this slides for right now, and I want to pause for just 1 second. All right, cool. So listen, I need to make an executive decision. I'm trying to see show recording monitor. All right, wow. So we've been at it for about an hour already. And what I don't want to do, I have some other things that I want to talk about, but I don't want to make this longer than what it is. Because like I said, it's a power hour, first of all, but also I want to make these into bite-sized chunks so that you can actually deal with them at a level that is, so you can make it, palatable for you. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to wrap this this episode up, and I need to readjust everything, but we're going to continue with assets, liability, investing, assets, your number one asset, and there's some resources. We're going to continue with the rest of these guys, which is not going to take very much long, but I want to make sure that we have them in like smaller compartments for you. So with that being said, listen, I'm excited. I'm excited about this process. Thank you for being with me for this first episode, and I hope that you get some out of it. Bookmark this. I want you to refer back to it if you need to. Tap into what you need to. Hit the replay button if you need to. I'm here for you. I thank you for joining me. Remember that abundance is your birthright, but you will only partake of that which your conscious mind will allow you to permit. So until the next one, I'll see you later. Take care.